And I am officially live and ready to go on YouTube as well. And also, just so you know, anyone that's watching on Instagram, hello. The recording will only be available on YouTube. And for anyone on YouTube, I am super grateful for you chiming in. So I have two devices set up right now. The reason why I thought this conversation would be a great conversation because I feel as if there's a lot of chat about why we need to focus on only getting new clients. Here's the thing is that if you're only focusing on new, that means that you're not focusing on how to have a long-term business. I find that people often find themselves getting overwhelmed in entrepreneurship is when they're only churning out new and not thinking, hey, if someone trusted me to spend money with me today, why am I not thinking about ways for them to spend money with me in the future? So in this free resource, so that's what the link, and anyone is watching this is a YouTube video, I have a link in the description. The reason why I came up with this free resource is because the way I like to think about client retention or entrepreneurship is that you want to always have two oars in one boat on your boat. So you want to have one oar that's moving forward, that's helping you with growing and getting new clients. But if you only have one oar moving, you're just going to be going in circles. So you also need to have or that's going to be focusing on client retention. So to ultimately have success, you need to have both oars in the water moving forward for you to grow. Because if you're only focusing on customer retention, that all you're doing is maintaining your business. And then if you're only focusing on getting new, that means that you're burning yourself out. And I always say, like, the way to think about this is that if you're always focusing on new, then you're just going to end up working harder to grow your business. So this is why we're having this conversation today. For anyone that's new to my channel, hi, my name is Jessie. I am super passionate about helping other service-based business owners with being able to have success in their company by focusing on having systems and strategies so that you're able to scale. Because we can't just be in a hustle mindset within our business. And granted, when we first start out, that might make a lot of sense. However, at some point we have to something clicks and we're like, there has to be an easier way to go about doing this. And that's what I love talking about. I love talking about all of the unsexy things about entrepreneurship. I go live mostly on YouTube. However, I have a few live streams where I'm going both live on Instagram as well as YouTube. And this is extremely hard. So just so you know, go ahead, anyone is watching Instagram, follow me on YouTube because I probably won't be doing both at the same time heading into July. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is understanding like why client retention is important, some of the common mistakes that people make when it comes around client retention. And then I'm going to give you a few ideas when it comes about how to go about implementing this, because I do get it that sometimes a lot of these conversations can feel a little bit overwhelming and it can almost feel like a foreign language when people are talking about systems and strategies. It's like, okay, Jesse, I've even had people say that, like, okay, Jesse, what does this mean to me? Because it can feel as if it's fancy. In reality, these are the key things that are going to help you growing your business. Okay, so the main reason why you want to be monitoring your client retention and looking at ways to actually grow within your client retention is because it will actually allow for you to scale. Because think about it, if you even had a client retention of 25%, that means that if you wanted to, you can focus on seeing how can you actually get this to 30%, 40%, 50%. And that makes life easier. So if you're looking to, let's say with the current clients you have, you're bringing in, let's say 25,000 a year, because I know everyone's in different places inside of their business. But if we're focusing on bringing in more money, if every month you had to rechurn another 25 people, 25,000, like every year, every month, oh my goodness, that would be extremely exhausting. So this is where we want to sit here and think to ourselves, okay, if my goal is to make $100,000 in revenue this year, what can I do so that I'm actually having 50% coming from current clients, and then how do I have another 50% through new? So, for example, today, what I did inside of my CRM platform is I pulled a list of all of the people that my company has worked with. I am an event planner by trade. I've been doing that for 14 years. And what I ended up doing was pulling a list of everyone that worked with me in the past year. Then with that specific list, now I can call or email those individuals to see about how I can re-engage them for Q3 and Q4. Instead of sitting here thinking, oh, my goal is to hit X this by the end of this year, how can I get all these new clients? Depending on your type of business, you want to understand what is the life cycle of your client. So for me, my life cycle, or not my life cycle, the amount of time it takes for them to churn and become an actual paying client. If someone typically finds out about my event company, they tend to convert into an actual paid client within 90 days. So if I am having this goal to hit by the end of the year, and I already know that some of my clients don't convert until 90 days, that means that I probably won't even see any revenue until I hit September. Yeah, because the end of September. That doesn't work. I have bills to pay right now. So this is why you want to think about client retention in a way of, okay, it takes you this amount of time to actually get a new client, and that is fine. However, if it takes you 2 months, 3 months, if it takes 8 emails, you should know this data in your business. And if you don't know it, or if you think this will be a really great video, I would love to hear from you on that, because I do not have a problem with creating some content around that. However, you want to know how long does it take for someone to convert. So if you know that it takes your clients X amount of time for them to convert, and we're legit 5 days away, 4 days away, no, 5 days away from being out of 2024. Like, let that sink in. We are 5 days away from being out of 2024. So you want to think to yourself, based off of us being so close to being outside of this year, you can hit whatever goals you want to hit. However, what I would love for you to do and challenge you to do is thinking about, how do I re-engage a specific amount of clients that worked with you in the past, and thinking to yourself, out of those clients, what can I potentially create or position or proposition to them so that they actually want to buy? So, like with me, I'm an event planner. We have summer stuff happening. And then, of course, I would love to get some people already thinking about holiday party stuff. So I could intentionally think to myself, okay, anyone that worked with me last holiday party season, how can I pitch to them so I can start getting them on the calendar so I know exactly how much revenue I'm bringing into my business? Okay, so the reason why it's important to use customer retention is because it makes it easier for you to know what it will take for you to get a result. And it's easier to convert someone that's already a warm or hot lead in your business than having to convert someone that's completely cold. You can have cold audience that automatically purchase. However, everyone's business is a little bit different. So you do want to be able to understand that. Okay. So some of the common mistakes people make when it comes to having a client retention process or customer retention process or strategy is the fact that there is no strategy. There's no clarity on what is going to be my client retention strategy. Like, here's the thing: even in that resource that you're going to get from me, when you actually, for those of you on Instagram, you type retention, and once I put up the description for this live, for anyone who's watching live, there will be a link in the description that you'll be able to click on. In that resource guide, you're going to see a bunch of different ways that you can focus on client retention. Please don't try to do all 7. I highly recommend, don't try to do all 7 right now, because that will likely burn you out. I only focus on 2 at the same time for anything. When it comes to a marketing strategy, when it comes to clients retention strategy, a sales strategy. Well, technically your client retention is part of your sales strategy. So you want to not overwhelm yourself, because I know that even when it comes to social media, people will think to themselves like, oh, let me get on all of the social media platforms and try to do all of them perfectly. And that will be hard, especially if you are a solopreneur. So think to yourself, even when watching that resource, what is going to be one of those things in which you can actually implement inside of there? Oh, and I love it. Someone just commented saying that they are doula and they want to think about how to build relationships to convert. And I'll comment on that once I get off the live. So I think that that would just stay to the end and you'll be able to get that tip. Alrighty. So it's one, not having is lack of defined lack of a retention strategy. So you don't have any plan, no way of knowing how you're going to get people to re-engage, what will even benefit them, because that is a part of it too. Like we can think, oh, I think my clients will love this, and then they don't care. Or it won't motivate them. Like I legit, like 5 years ago, I had a client because he was so enrolled into my retention strategy as well as my referral process that he, and like in 1 month, has sent me 4 leads just so that he can qualify for a reward inside of my rewards program. So you have to know what's going to get people motivated and what they're actually interested in so that you can get the result that you truly desire. The second thing that gets in the way is having poor follow-up. That's what gets in the way of us having client retention. If you don't have a follow-up process, that will definitely hurt you. So again, do what's within your means and within your capacity. Your amount of follow-up is going to look different possibly than someone like mine's. However, there needs to be a follow-up process. If it's going to be that anyone that reached out to my company in the last 90 days and they did not convert, I'm going to send them this message. If there's someone that reached out to me in the last 90 days and I did complete the service, and now I just want to check in. Am I going to send email? Am I going to send them a card? And I think that we think that they have to be these grand gestures to build up relationships with our clients. And it doesn't take that. It just takes us thinking about just doing a little small thing. You could probably even buy some cheap cards from Dollar Tree, or you can get some branded ones from a platform like what's the company that you can get any cards, but you can get cards anywhere essentially. And then if you do send a card, have your business card inside of that. Why? Because when you're person, you send them this card with this handwritten note, because so many people are used to horrific customer retention. Customer follow up or just customer service. It doesn't even take you giving someone the world. It just takes you giving intentional action to be able to get someone excited. And so you can do a handwritten card. I think stamps right now like 50 cents. So if you buy a pack of cards and thank you cards, it can be that every quarter you go through, see who's bought with you, paid you, and you executed a service, and do a handwritten card. Again, make sure you put your business card in it so that when someone else, they know, they can pass it along. And this is valid even for those of us that have never met our clients in person. I think that those things matter. So you want to have a follow-up process. The next thing is you spend too much time only focusing on new. That is a common mistake that people make when they are just creating a strategy, because they're not even including a customer retention policy. So they're putting all this effort into getting someone new, and then once they get them new, then they like crickets. So you do want to make sure you're making the time not only in the beginning, but also what are the little things that you can do after. The other thing that gets in the way is just neglecting customer feedback. And I was that person. Back in the day, I used to really get a little nervous about actually putting out reviews, because I almost took it as a personal attack when I used to have doing customer reviews. But don't get scared of that, because that's the only way you grow. So you want to take the time to get customer reviews. And then if someone has something negative to say, talk to them, figure out what exactly made them feel this way. What can you implement to avoid that in the future? So that helps you grow. Because if one person had that experience of you and your business, no one else may, or you might have other people that have had that experience, but they haven't actually expressed those things to you. So don't get afraid of customer feedback. Once I started really embracing when people gave me any kind of feedback, like if someone says, Jesse, I didn't like how X, Y, and Z, my immediate response is like, I definitely understand and hear what you have to say. If you don't mind, I would love to schedule a time to talk just so I can hear your point of view and then talk to you. Like that was such a big thing for me in the past. Now I like, and that alone usually makes people feel so much better about working with me because they're like, Dag, you didn't just get the review and ghost me. No, I want to hear. So it helps me with learning how to grow. And then the last thing is not adding value in your customer retention policy. Because again, if it only makes sense to you, but it does not make sense to your client, they will not care about your retention and then they will not care about what you're offering. So you want to make sure that you're adding value in the end, as well as the whole process, to be honest. And then whatever your strategy is going to be, it has to make some kind of difference to your customer because if not, they're going to do that. And he said the doula trainer shared the feedback is yes. And someone just commented in Instagram saying that it is a form of love. And you'll be surprised. Most people aren't going to be vicious. And if they are, I'd rather them be vicious and talking to me than vicious and going in on my Google My Business. And that's why a lot of people get nervous about Google My Business. They're like, anybody can go out there. I'm like, but here's the thing. If someone goes out there, what pisses people off the most is the fact that when a customer leaves a bad review, they don't actually even try to reach out to the person. And I do also find that when someone has that type of experience, there were typically multiple red flags, and we took a client because we feel like we need to take every client. And it's just a horrible experience, not only for you, but also for them. So, this is why every client is not your customer. So when it comes down to developing a client retention strategy, you only want to focus on 1 to 2. And that free resource I have provided to you, it will give you different varieties of different ways to go about having one. But I wanted to also give you some of the ways that you can keep people engaged into your business that often we don't hear about, or I think that we only hear the extremities of it. And I mostly only help people in the service-based businesses. So if you're a service-based business, this is you. If you're a CPG, because I'm a product good, take heed of it and then figure out the best way you can do this. Okay, so one of the things that I always want for people to do when it comes to retaining a customer is implementing something involving email marketing. Email marketing is a great way to keep in front of people. Here's how people go wrong with email marketing. With email marketing, what they find themselves doing is spamming the hell out of people with buy me, buy me, buy me, buy now, buy right now. Like we're Target, we're small business owners. You do not want to just spam people. You want to think to yourself, what can I do to add value to my clients so they keep opening my email? Because if you're just spamming them all the time, they will not open your emails all the time. And then chances are they will eventually unsubscribe. And this is so important for service-based businesses because if you want it to be that you're always at the forefront of your person's mind, and then also too that they're always still interested in what you're having to add value. So you might be saying to yourself, Jesse, okay, with email marketing, what can I talk about? I would say come up with something you can be consistent with. It can be 2 to 3 types of emails that you're sending in a month. One can be featuring previous clients that worked with you, or you can have a client of the month where you're highlighting the service in which you provided and maybe the client review and something that makes them feel special because some clients might find value in like, oh my goodness, I didn't know you did X or Y, or it just makes them feel good because then you never know. Someone could have been mentioning that they were looking for someone that provided your services. And then what they can do is now forward that email. And that's why you want for people to still open those emails because people forward emails to their friends and family members. So if you're only talking about buy now, buy now, buy now, what then happens is that they won't even be able to send you referrals because they don't even open your emails. So when it comes to email marketing, you can add value by doing a once a month a client feature where you're just showcasing your services or a review that a customer had given you. Super easy for any business to be able to do for service-based businesses. The second email that you can do is that you can help with featuring something that is helpful for the upcoming month. So currently in July, I'll give you an example. we're in June. So next month is July. I can have an email, and I actually did. I sent an email to my client base to let them know I have this for these ideas or these two, however, success with implementing these ideas. So you're adding value, you're teasing the fact of you can support the person and they can reach out to you for additional services. So that adds value. The third type of email that you can potentially do that month, especially for those of you that do recipes or you provide someone that's watching right now, she's an accountant. So, like, even if she wanted to have like once a month, some kind of small tip, something that people can use that adds value to their clients so that they're able to implement. Because here's the thing, you don't always have to just share, work with me, and buy from me. You showing up as a thought leader inside of your business is what gets people to buy. Someone was like, well, do you worry that your clients are going to then take what you're giving them to go ahead and implement it? I know personally that my clients can't work with me all the time, and that's fine. But because I flip through all of these types of themes inside of my emails, they still stay open. They still keep opening them. They still want to know more about what my company is offering. And then two, there's going to be some months where they're going to implement those tips in house. But then when they do have the money to spend, guess who they're going to ask for? They're going to still reach out to me. I think we want to sometimes nestle away all of our ideas. Like, don't fret. It's 2024. People are lazy as hell. Whatever your business does, people will sometimes try to do it on their own and they'll figure out, oh my goodness, that was hell. And they will hire you. They will come back to you. So don't think that you have to hoard all of the information from your clients because they're going to want to do what you do. 9 times out of 10, most people will not. Even with me giving out ideas and things like that, and my customers go about, oh, I'm glad that you still saw it. Yeah. And like, so having, and they don't have to be big tips, y'all. We have Chat GPT, allow it to help you. And just doing this helps just a ton within my client base because they're just like, oh, Jesse, this was so helpful. Like, and here's the thing, this is where you can also use affiliate marketing. Like, I have Amazon. I'm an Amazon affiliate. So even when my clients are like, oh my gosh, we got to figure out something to do for July 4th, I can sit here and say, oh my gosh, no, I'm not going to give it to you. Instead, I'm like, oh, sure. You want to do something on July 4th? Here's this link of all of the things I recommend for you to purchase. And then you still make money from those affiliates. So again, add value to your clients because that is what keeps people coming back, and then that's what keeps people in front of your peripheral. The other thing outside of email marketing is I do always do recommend for business owners to look at some type of referral program. A referral or rewards program. They're done a ton of different ways. Because again, customer retention is you keeping someone in your sales funnel because ultimately you work so hard to get people all into your sales funnel. You get all of these people to find you on your Instagram, to find on your website. I even mentioned inside of the document, like that's why I use mini chat because none of us own these platforms. Like, be very clear. You can grow an audience of 100,000 on Instagram, TikTok, blah, blah, blah. But if you're not getting them into your sales funnel, you're doing yourself a big disservice. By using email marketing inside of my business, last year, we were able to have 97% client retention. Most of my customers that came to me last year was 97%, which is not a good number. It's a good number, but it's not a good number. But last year, I wasn't sure if I still wanted to keep doing the niche of events I was doing. But to just let you know, like, we were able to do multiple six figures without really getting new clients because of how I focus on customer retention. So it can be outside of email marketing. It can be once a quarter, you're giving a client a call. It can be you doing a VIP event where you're inviting people to take advantage of it. Like, think to yourself, what can you do to keep people in your ether, or that you're still front of mind for them so that whenever someone's asking, they can send you a referral. Last week alone, I received a referral from a client who is only able to do 1 to 2 big events with me a year. 1 to 2 big events with me a year. he sent me a lead who only wanted to supposedly hire us for bar services only. This turned into us doing catering, bar, and then yeah, catering, bar, and a DJ because of that referral. This is why it's important to have some type of strategy where you're connecting with people. So that client just signed their contract today. So you know what I'm going to do? The person that referred them, I'm going to send them an email. Hey, I just want to let you know so and so booked. You did receive this credit because for those of you that have been following my journey on TikTok, I actually am restructuring my packages with my clients to get more annual contracts. So what I will then do in that email is I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know this client did book, you received this rewards. However, I would love to schedule a time for us to talk so I can let you know about the new packages that we're offering inside of my business. So it allows for conversation. You don't want it to be that someone's paying you, you take the money and you run. If you're doing that, business will be so much harder for you. I legit have some clients who work with me, who's been working with me for 10 years. And at one point, they were able to work with me once a month. Now it can be every other month. It doesn't matter. You know, this is why you want to take the time to focus on your own personal client retention. And this is why I created that free resource for you. I love using platforms like HoneyBook or having a CRM that allows for you to capture information easily. You want it to be that you can easily do a report to see who were the individuals that reached out to you. Did they buy? If they didn't buy, what's going to happen? If they did buy, this is what's going to happen. How often am I engaging those individuals? My strategy within my own event business is that every opposite quarter, I'm messaging, like reaching out to the previous people. So, like going into Q3, I could pull a list of everyone I worked with in Q3 of 2023 and then do a strategy to now get those people to book with me. Or I can reach out to the individuals that worked with me in Q1 saying, hey, we haven't worked with you in a couple of months. I would love to see about how I can serve you going into the holiday season. It doesn't matter what type of business you have. It all comes down to how you're going to use this to gain clients and keep them in your funnel. The goal is to use this for marketing, you know, market your business to get people into your sales funnel. Use platforms like MailChimp, ConvertKit. There's a bunch of different other ones I know out there for email marketing, but you want to do something, use something to keep track of all of that. All right, for all of all of you on YouTube, I will post a link inside of here. I hope that the information, I don't want you to make the mistakes when it comes to having a strategy. Download the free resource that I will put in the description for you. And for those of you on YouTube, I'm on Instagram. I will be continuing our conversation so that you can ask questions. All right, thank you for everyone on YouTube.